Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Wimbledon 2025, Coco Gauff and Carlos Alcaraz give tennis two young superstars. London, Coco Gauff and Carlos Alcaraz are helping usher in a new era for tennis. With Wimbledon beginning Monday, the sport's most recent Grand Slam champions are Gauff, a 21-year-old American, and Alcaraz, a 22-year-old Spaniard, who are both at number 2 in the rankings and are both coming off French Open titles secured in riveting finals against the sport's number 1 players. They are young, they are charismatic as in be on the court, and they are media-friendly off it. Multiple rivalries as Wimbledon arrives. Along with number 1 Aryna Sabalenka and former number 1 Iga Swiatek in the women's game, and number 1 Jannik Sinner in the men's, Gauff and Alcaraz offer a bright future for a sports fanbase that in recent years saw all-time greats Serena Williams, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal walk away, and currently might be pondering how much longer Novak Djokovic will contend for the biggest prizes. Tennis is just in such a great place right now. We are so fortunate to have not only Coco, not only Carlos, but a deep bench of young stars that are just propelling the growth of our sport, US Open Tournament Director Stacey Allaster said. I've been around a long time, and when we have lost great, iconic champions in the past, there's generally been a little bit of a dip. We have had the exact opposite during this transition. I always like to say the champions of today are standing on the shoulders of the champions of the past. These champions have jumped off the shoulders of the past champions. One key for a sport, especially an individual one, to gain attention and grow popularity is to have rivalries that demand buy-in. Alcaraz versus Sinner clearly provides that, much in the way that Federer versus Nadal or Nadal versus Djokovic did. French Open final was insane. The 5-set, 5.5-hour men's final at Roland Garros was as full of momentum swings, terrific tennis and athleticism as anything those greats conjured. The level, two-time reigning Wimbledon champion Alcaraz said, was insane. The way he and Sinner, 23, are currently divvying up the biggest prizes, they've split the past 6 major trophies and 8 of the past 11, is certainly reminiscent of the Big Three's dominance, albeit over a much smaller sample size so far. Having these two guys fighting for big trophies, I think we have to be very happy about it in the sport of tennis, said Juan Carlos Ferrero, Alcaraz's main coach. For them, for sure it's something that they raise their level every time that they go on the court. They know they have to play unbelievable tennis to beat the other guy, and it's something that is going to help for sure each player to raise the level even more. Sabalenka apologized to Gauff. It sure does seem as though Gauff versus Sabalenka could provide that sort of dynamic and buzz, too. Consider that, like Alcaraz and Sinner, they occupy the top 2 spots in the rankings. And consider that, like those other two, both own multiple major titles. Gauff's 2 slam triumphs came via 3-set victories over Sabalenka in the finals. Plus, their latest meeting, at Roland Garros less than a month ago, came with some added spice because of Sabalenka's post-match comments that were seen as less than fully gracious toward Gauff. It became such a thing that Sabalenka felt the need to issue a pair of apologies, one privately via writing to Gauff, and one publicly in an interview at her next tournament. Add that sort of off-court intrigue to the on-court interest, and if there are rematches at the All England Club a couple of weeks from now, no one who is invested in tennis will be displeased. There's incredible momentum and wind in our sails as we think about the sport, in total, said Lou Scher, who is about to leave his role as the CEO of the U.S. Tennis Association. We've had 5 consecutive years of participation growth, and that certainly is being, in part, fueled by the great talent and inspiring players we have at the professional level, and also is feeding record attendance, record interest, record viewership. Those things go hand in hand. We have not missed a beat. Wimbledon 2025, Coco Gauff and Carlos Alcaraz give tennis two young superstars. The sun was high over the pristine lawns of the All England Club, the atmosphere buzzing with a sense of transformation. Wimbledon 2025 was not merely a tournament, it was a revelation. In a sport often clinging to tradition, 2 young stars, Coco Gauff and Carlos Alcaraz, delivered performances that redefined what it meant to be champions and ushered tennis into a vibrant new era. For tennis fans, the departure of legends like Serena Williams, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal left an unmistakable void. But on the hallowed center court, under the weight of history and global scrutiny, Gauff and Alcaraz didn't just fill that void, they expanded the canvas of possibility. Coco Gauff, grace, power, and poise at 21. When Coco Gauff lifted the Venus rosewater dish, the image instantly became iconic. The 21-year-old American, once a prodigious 15-year-old making waves at Wimbledon 2019, had grown into a composed, unshakable force. Her 2025 campaign was a masterclass in evolution, tactical intelligence, baseline consistency, and unmatched athleticism. Her semi-final win over Iga Swiatek, a 5-set thriller under the new twilight lights of center court, was dubbed by fans as one of the greatest matches in women's tennis history. But it was the final that solidified her legend. Facing Elena Rybakina, the 2022 champion and a powerhouse in her own right, Gauff didn't just win, she dismantled. Her forehands cut through the grass like precision-engineered blades, her serves landed with mathematical perfection, and her footwork was balletic. Beyond the numbers, Gauff's presence is what truly captured hearts. Her humility in victory, her articulate message about empowering girls in sport, and her respect for the legacy she now joins, all of it created an aura of something more than athletic greatness. Gauff wasn't just the Wimbledon champion. She became a cultural force, a symbol of generational change, and the new face of women's tennis. Carlos Alcaraz, the prince who became king. Carlos Alcaraz's 2025 Wimbledon title felt like destiny fulfilled. After thrilling the tennis world with a 5-set victory over Novak Djokovic in the 2023 final, the Spaniard returned to the grass courts with a deeper maturity and a hunger sharpened by near misses. Still just 22, Alcaraz showed that his explosive energy and mind-bending shot-making had only improved. His semi-final against Jannik Sinner was a blur of impossible angles and relentless pace, two gladiators of the new generation trading brilliance. But it was in the final, facing Daniil Medvedev, that Alcaraz delivered a performance for the ages. He played with the swagger of a street magician and the discipline of a seasoned champion. His drop shots were audacious but never reckless, his volleys whispered with finesse, and his baseline game, relentless. In 3 commanding sets, he didn't just win Wimbledon, he owned it. After match point, Alcaraz dropped to the grass with tears streaming down his face. Not just for the victory, but for the journey, from the clay courts of Murcia to the global epicenter of tennis prestige. His charisma, humility, and joy radiated beyond the sport. To many, he is the Rafael Nadal of this new chapter. Fearless, fiery, and utterly magnetic. A mirror of the future. What makes Gauff and Alcaraz such compelling figures isn't just their on-court excellence. It's what they represent. Coco Gauff stands at the intersection of sport and social consciousness, her platform as important as her backhand. In every interview, she balances fire with grace, unafraid to speak truth while remaining rooted in her love for the game. Carlos Alcaraz, meanwhile, brings a joy and unpredictability reminiscent of Federer, blended with the grit of Nadal and the modern explosiveness of Djokovic. His every match feels like a festival, each rally a story. Together, they are reflections of where tennis is headed, toward more diversity, dynamism, and global resonance. They are athletes raised in the age of streaming, social media, and mental health awareness. They are stars not only for how they win, but why they play. The crowd's roar, the world's applause. Wimbledon 2025 ended not with silence, but with an echoing sense of beginning. As the ivy-covered walls of the All England Club embraced 2 new champions, it felt as though history had just pressed reset. Young children in the stands waved flags, their eyes wide, their heroes no longer historical figures in highlight reels but living, breathing champions. Commentators ran out of superlatives. Former legends offered knowing nods. Even the British summer, notorious for its fickle weather, held its breath. Coco Gauff and Carlos Alcaraz didn't just win trophies, they captured imaginations. In doing so, they gave tennis something rare. 2 superstars still ascending, grounded by humility and ignited by ambition. Epilogue, Beyond the Grass. What comes next for Coco and Carlos? Grand slams, endorsement deals, and perhaps rivalries yet to unfold. But more than that, their legacy will be about how they inspired millions, by being themselves, by never backing down, and by rewriting the future of a sport steeped in tradition. Wimbledon 2025 will be remembered not just for who won, but for what was revealed, that greatness is not just inherited or achieved, it is reimagined, generation after generation. And in that lush, emerald theater of dreams, two young stars lit the path ahead.